Hello everyone, this is Theme Park Central and today I have another expansions video for Walt Disney World. Last week I did the first part of Epcot, the whole Future World area. Now I'm going to do World Showcase because there's a lot of room for expansion, believe it or not, in World Showcase, and so far World Showcase it's decent. But it's all about the drinks and the food right now, and I like it to have a little more education and entertainment, so we'll see if some expansions could be done to make it better. So first we're going to start out, as always, looking at the ride distribution map, kind of seeing where things are clustered in the park. And we have a few rides right next to each other, Mexico Pavilion and Norway Pavilion. And then we have Ratatouille kind of off on its own. We do have some shows. We have Harmonious. We have one in China. We have the Canada one. We have that one in France. And we have the American Adventure. So some shows here, I think it would be nice to add a few more though. And no new rides currently scheduled for this whole area, so that is unfortunate. I know we just got Ratatouille, but that's not the best ride, it seems. It seems like it's okay, but another insertion of IP into the Disney parks. So here are the expansions plot. The expansion plots where there is some room to expand in blue. So you see where there's currently that refreshment outpost, a lot of room there for one or maybe one big pavilion or maybe even two pavilions. You do have a spot in between Germany and the and Italy. That's where the trains currently are. I like those trains, but yeah, they'd have to remove them to make way. They're kind of just a placeholder for expansion. So some room there. And then Japan, there's not enough room for like a whole pavilion in between Japan and Morocco, or in between Japan and America. But if you go towards the back of the pavilion, there is some room for expansion over there. So you could perhaps do something there. There's also some room behind Morocco for expansion. So lots of room here, believe it or not. I know it seems tight, but some behind the scenes stuff that you can't see when you're in the park to be expanded for World Showcase. So we're going to start out with a ride that was actually already announced by Disney, but seems like it won't be happening now. And this is the Mary Poppins ride in the United Kingdom. A Cherry Tree Lane was supposed to be created. They're supposed to create the whole area. And right now, the UK, it's actually one of the smaller pavilions, and for being such a notable country for Disney movies, I know it's not nice to put IP in, but I think this is an okay place for it. Although I really need to see Bob Chapek put in a ride that doesn't have to do with IP, because Chapek, well, yeah, he is just lover of cash and IP. So yeah, that's unfortunate, of course, about that we won't have some original rides. I'll get to that later in the video as well. Actually pretty soon. And so this is kind of unlikely now. They, like, with all the COVID, they decided not to do this because, well, money, to put it simply. But likeliness in the next 5 years, these percentages are nothing official. I literally just create them based on what I think. So not a good chance of this happening in the next 5 years. Possibility in the next 10 years. They're expanding Epcot, and it's going to be nice. I mean, people have not been talking about how valuable Cosmic Rewind is going to be to the park. I know it's another IP, but it is going to be a whole new ride, a roller coaster. It's going to be fun. It's going to be another ride at Epcot, so that's good. Epcot just doesn't have an identity. That's the problem with it, and it's either going to be the IP park or the education park, and it looks like it's going to be the IP park. So let's move on. This would be a pretty cool one. I know this was actually pitched at some kind of idea a long time ago, and this is the Mount Fuji roller coaster in Japan. I would love this so much. It's not too far-fetched as far as space goes. As you can see, there's a river. They could probably use that scenery if they wanted to, and then some parking lots for the cast members probably, which could be relocated very easily, so no problem with that. And so, yeah, the problem is this is just such a big project. It doesn't have any IP, so Disney's not gonna do it. So I see such a small chance of this happening, unfortunately. If I worked at Disney, I would be building this right away. This would be one of the first things I would do, believe it or not. It would really bring. I know it's the only problem with creating this is they'll be very popular, and Japan, they don't. It would be like a whole new traffic, so you'd have to create multiple entrances, maybe through the side of Japan, create some more pathways there. So that would be the one problem. But I'd see a very small chance of this happening, unfortunately, because it doesn't have any IPs and it's a big project. Although this is what Epcot should be. It should be basically what do you think of when you think of the country? That should be a ride. If you're gonna add any rides, it shouldn't be what Disney movie you think of. And so yeah, moving on. These next ones are all going to be related to a Disney movie, and I know that's IP and all that stuff, but this is just talking about what an expansion could be, not what I want it to be or what you want it to be. So next up, we have an expansion to Morocco, and I know people are going to be saying, Aladdin, that's not in Morocco. Well, it's kind of related, so I say we add in a simulator ride here. I know that's like kind of odd, but you're going to be like you're flying on the carpet. Not too much room here, so it'd have to be a smaller ride. And I'd see a small chance of this happening because, yeah, there's just not too much room. But it could be like you're on a journey going from Morocco to Agrabah, and then you go all throughout there. And all that stuff, maybe encounter the genie. I don't like the genie too much after Genie Plus, so I'd probably shoot him or something. I don't know, could we add guns to this ride? So, yeah, I see a small chance of this happening, but it wouldn't be too bad. It's just not the greatest fit. And then this one, it's actually what Lin-Manuel Miranda pitched to Chapek, and it's an IP, so obviously Chapek is going to love it. Will he build it? No, because of money. I don't want this to be built, actually. This is the Columbia Pavilion in between Germany and Italy, where the trains are. I would be ashamed to see those trains go away. But yeah, because that's like Walt loved trains, right? It's kind of like an homage to Walt there. And the original Epcot, I wasn't able to see the original Epcot. I kind of what I remember, it's the 2010s Epcot, and that was better than what it is right now because it had interventions. But yeah. So World Showcase is okay now, it's just all the food. So here we would have a table service restaurant, some kind of store, and the Encanto dark ride. I don't know what you name it, but I don't like the idea of an Encanto dark ride. I don't like the idea of Encanto in the parks, period, because it's a good movie, but it's not. People really just know we don't talk about Bruno. That's literally the whole movie. So yeah, so that just wouldn't fit in. Encanto in some kind of fireworks spectacular or something like that. Yes, I would love that. A little too late. Could they add that onto Harmonious? I don't know. It might not be too hard, but they probably have a whole fireworks display already set up. So, yeah, Encanto kind of fits in the fireworks shows to me. So that's the problem I have with it. And another problem with Encanto is you could literally put it in any Disney park except Animal Kingdom. And this is a big problem. It's a very massive problem, I think, that not enough people have been talking about, and it's kind of like the whole definition of the Disney company is changing. The park specifically, you could put Encanto in, nowadays, you could put it in Magic Kingdom, you could put it in Epcot, you could put it in Hollywood Studios, just not Animal Kingdom, although Animal Kingdom, there are some constraints there with Avatar just getting thrown in there. And so, yeah, Animal Kingdom's the non-IP park right now, but I don't know how much longer that will be for. So, I don't see too much of a chance of this happening in the next 10 years because it's a bigger project, but could definitely happen in the next 20 years. I know that's a long time, but there's a chance of this one happening. I don't want it to. And if you were to tell me what park Encanto fits the best in, it would be Epcot because it's based off of Colombia. It's not a classic. For me, Magic Kingdom, don't put new rides in Epcot, in Magic Kingdom. I know Tron's an exception because it fits in Tomorrowland. That's a big problem. You could also say it could go in Future World, so that's just such a big problem with the Disney company right now. So yeah, let's move on to the another option for the same area. Personally, I like a second option a little better. This would be another South American country, Brazil, and this would be no IP, so that's why it's better. And it would have a quick service restaurant, a shop, an Amazon riverboat ride, kind of you just going through a river, maybe some kind of temple, pretty much the Jungle Cruise, just maybe a little fancier and no jokes. And then they would also have a jungle walking trail towards the back of the pavilion where you could just get a break and enjoy the scenery. So that would be pretty nice. I think I'd like to see this one. Now, it'd be kind of weird to fit this in between Italy and Germany. Brazil, it's a lot different than those places. So, yeah, I don't know if that would be a problem. But that's not been a problem for World Showcase before, so why would it be now? So in the next 10 years, I don't see this one happening, but this is a possibility in the next 20 years. Something tells me they'll put a movie in or make a movie and put it in here. So, I don't know, the IPs. And then here it's a image of where Egypt or India, those are the two ideas I have for where the refreshment outpost is right now. And you see how much room there is. There's the whole area back where they used to put the floats for illuminations, and so yeah, I would love if they could put the taco barges back there, and you can even see like the friendship boats are stored back there, which I found pretty funny. And then you just see like construction. Is that construction? No, it just looks like backstage, but this is a lot of room to do something. Personally, I'd prefer one pavilion here and not two. Two would be fitting them in pretty tight. So here it's Egypt. This is another non-IP thing, so that's why I'd like it. Egypt wouldn't be too big, but those pyramids are going to be there, and they're really going to make a statement. So you'd have a table service restaurant with some Egyptian food. And then you would have this wouldn't even be a ride, it would just be a walkthrough. King Tut's tomb, you would go into the temple, and you get to see some kind of replica there. So, yeah, no, that would just be a walkthrough, but I think it would be pretty cool. You could even have a show there somehow, so that would be pretty cool. In the next 10 years, I don't see much of a chance of this happening, no IP, and yeah, this one's probably not going to happen just because, I mean, Egypt would make sense, but no IP. Maybe they'd do the same thing, like I said, with Brazil and just make a movie or something like that. And then we have India, and the problem about India I have is it's already represented in Animal Kingdom, with the whole Asian area, but that's it. They call it Asia and Animal Kingdom, but it's predominantly India and Nepal over in Animal Kingdom. So this one would be India. You would have a Jungle Book. I know that's another IP, but it would make a good boat ride back there. And then you'd have the Culture of India Theater, where you have like kind of similar to what they have in China and Canada with the whole 360 vision or something like that. And then, or maybe you have some kind of live show there. I love the live entertainment in World Showcase. That's one of the strong points of it. And then you'd have some kind of table service. I don't see too much of a chance of this one coming. So, yeah, just definition of Epcot, it's really suffering. World Showcase, it was originally you're supposed to learn about the countries, but now it's just about food and drinks. And then you go over to Future World and you just got IP there. So I already made the video on Future World, so you can go watch that. But basically the main points of Future World is that they have to somehow salvage the middle, and maybe they can make something good out of that. And also they have to kind of recreate the Figment, the Imagination Pavilion, and then maybe they can salvage Future World, but right now it's on the way down just due to how much IP it's in there. And then here's some other possible these are renovations, so these would be like adding stuff or changing stuff. Now this would be another IP, but this is the Coco boat ride in Mexico. This one could happen. This one has been theorized, but it would kind of be like, what's the point in changing it? Well, it'd actually make the whole area way more popular. That is actually a massive problem. If you have ever been in the Mexico Pavilion at Disney, you will know how cramped it is in there. It's just a building, not bigger than a grocery store or anything like that. It's pretty small. It's pretty much a restaurant. It's not too much bigger than even a restaurant. It's got a restaurant in there. But you always have to squeeze your way through people to get to the entrance of the Grand Fiesta Tour, which is there right now. So and that only has a 10-minute wait all the time. So make that a popular ride, and that will not go well. So I don't see that one happening, actually. The chance of it, you think, oh yeah, the Coco's a popular movie, that could happen. But just the logistics with that, I don't think it would happen. And then a Mulan ride in China, that's just another insertion of IP like I've been talking about the whole video, but that's kind of the thing. And China, it's actually a pretty good area right now. Speaking of the countries that are like, they have enough. Norway has enough, they have all the frozen stuff, and I know that's IP as well. Mexico, it's good, that you don't really need to add stuff to Mexico. I mean, you could renovate the boat ride, but I already talked about that. Germany needs more, so that's where we would get a Tangled ride, maybe some kind of drop tower or a track ride. So that one would be okay, I think, and would fit in with Germany pretty well. Italy, I would say, had enough. Lots of food available in there. I know that's food again, but yeah. And then you have America had enough. I mean, Disney's in America, so you don't need to over America. So that's fine. And then Japan, I would love to add the whole mountain roller coaster. Morocco had enough, I think. There's not too much there right now, but it's fine. And then France has a ton. France is by far the biggest pavilion with the most stuff. So right now, France is definitely the best pavilion. The UK needs more, but Canada's good because that's one of those shows. So yeah, I just don't think the Mulan ride is needed in China. They have a few food spots there, and they have the like shows over there. So I think China's actually a fine pavilion right now, and I don't know how much room there is for expansion there. So, and I already talked about the Tangled ride, so I think that's gonna do it for this video. I didn't talk about adding food stores because there's like 2 or 3 food stands or restaurants or something like that at every pavilion, and there's like 11 pavilions. There are like over 30 different restaurants in a World Showcase. So yeah, that is going to do it for this video. Please make sure to subscribe and like, and also share this channel. I'd love to get more subscribers. I'm only at 18 or 19 right now, something like that. So I'd love to get well over 20. And I also have an Instagram account now, and that's linked to the channel, so you can check some things over there that will basically just tell you what kind of videos are coming out soon. So yeah, that is going to do it for this video, and next week I will be back for expansions with another video. That will be Hollywood Studios. That will be a longer one. So we've got Hollywood Studios next week. The week after that, we'll have Animal Kingdom. And then after that, we'll have new parks. What could Disney add as a new park? So that's the next 3 weeks in Disney expansions. So that is going to do it for this video. This is Theme Park Central. Bye.